Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm taking you to the capital of Jamaica. You heard me correctly, we are going to Kingston. First, I'm going to start out with how to get there. Most people fly into two airports, Mo Bay, which is going to be Sangster International Airport, or Kingston, Norman Manley International Airport. What I did, I flew into Mo Bay because I was staying in Mo Bay for a little bit, and then I went to Bahia Principe Resort in Runaway Bay. It was a birthday trip, and so I wanted to see as much of Jamaica as I could. I have not visited Kingston Airport, Norman Manley. I do believe that they have Club Mo Bay VIP, which is an expedited service for you to skip the lines. You'll be able to eat in the lounge, and it's just a better way for you to relax once you have landed, or you can do it the other way when you are departing Jamaica. I flew Spirit Airlines right into Jamaica. Once I was at the resort, I had met a family who was talking about Kingston. They were going there. I rode with them. It ended up taking much longer than it should have. What I'm going to recommend that you do is fly into Kingston, or you can just directly go there with Knutsford Express. And I mean, yeah, it was an interesting experience being able to travel with them, but it took way longer than it should have. They kept making all of these stops. We were at some law office, then we were getting fruit on the road. We went to a mall. Of course, we went to some Jamaican spot to get some food. A few hours later, I ended up arriving to Kingston in the dark, which is not something ideal. More on that later. But those are the ways for you to enter Kingston. Let's talk about the entry requirements for Jamaica. Currently, Jamaica is at a level 3. I have told you before, a lot of Black and brown countries do get 3 as a travel advisory. That is going to be reconsidered travel. When I went to Jamaica a few years ago, it was level 3, and I did all of this that I am sharing with you. This has been currently updated, however. It's been updated July of 2024. So do keep that in mind. They are specifically saying for you to stay out of certain areas. I'm going to put it up on the screen so you can take a look at it. Downtown Kingston is on this list. When I went, I do not remember this being an area to avoid. Things do change. You always want to go to the Travel State Gov site, see what they are updating. You can also go to the U.S. Embassy of Jamaica site and get your information from there. You are going to need a passport. You want to make sure that your passport is not damaged. Make sure that you have a passport case or something where you can keep your passport secure. If you're going to be traveling for less than 90 days, you do not have to worry about a visa. I would not, however, purchase a one-way ticket here. You know, I've told you sometimes I like to live in the moment and I'm really into spontaneous travel, and I buy one way, see how I like the place, extend days, and then further along as the trip goes, I decide to depart. With Jamaica, you need to have a return ticket. They call it proof of anticipated departure. I'm not sure if this will change in the future. What you can do to get around this, you can just buy a return ticket and then you can cancel it within the 24 hours. But I might not want to play those games with Jamaica. I would just make sure I have my return ticket already available. Quickly, let me show you how you can access Travel State Gov. You're going to go to the website here. Once it comes up, you want to click onto International Travel. From there, go to Learn About Your Destination. This is where you're going to enter the country that you are looking for. In our case, it's Jamaica. I type that in. Then you go to the travel advisory. It's saying to stay away from certain parts of Kingston and St. Andrew Parish. They even recommend that if you are a diplomatic official, that you just stay away from those particular areas. I am not a diplomat, but it is still good for me to just follow. If they don't want a diplomat going, I probably shouldn't be around these places either. Yes, I did go to downtown Kingston, but I was feeling adventurous. And due to armed robbery, some sexual assault, this is why they have kind of just put these precautions to stay away from those areas. I wouldn't go to those areas unless I was with friends or family. Even then, especially as a solo traveler, I just stay away. When it comes to places to stay in Kingston, I'm going to recommend that you look up visitjamaica.com. This is the tourism board. They have so many recommendations and guides for you if you're going to be visiting Kingston for the first time. There are a few areas for you to look into as far as neighborhoods if you are going to be staying in Kingston. There is New Kingston, there's Half Tree. I've heard good things about Blue Mountain. That's not Kingston, but if you travel out. Where I stayed was a hostel. It was right around the corner from the Bob Marley Museum. So the location was really great for me. Back to visitjamaica.com, they have hotels, resorts, villas, there's apartments, guest houses. They don't have any hostels on there. They know the audience that they're catering to. Okay, but for Hostel World, you can also go and look for accommodation. I am just going to give you a quick review of where I stayed. This was called the Ragamuffin Hostel. Yeah, that name is sus. I'm not a ragamuffin. One advantage of staying in a hostel is going to be safety for a solo traveler, especially as a woman. So many issues are eliminated when you stay in hostels. Hear me out. As I mentioned, the location was great. I mean, really, all I had to do if I wanted was just stay on that street. I had access to markets, there were restaurants. I didn't really do any lounges. I was right next door to a vegan restaurant. I mean, what better location are you going to be in? The hostel is known to have great facilities. If you wanted to wash clothes, you could. They had a currency exchange, which is even better because I told you don't get your currency exchange at the Jamaica airports. The rate is going to be terrible. You might as well do it once you get to the city center. Only do a few dollars at the airport of the Jamaican dollars. And then when you get to Kingston, you could just exchange your money at the hostel. They have pretty good rates. Filtered water, that is such an important item for me. I travel with my portable water bottle because I know that Jamaica is going to be hot. We're in the Caribbean, you're moving around a lot, you're in the hot sun, and you need to stay hydrated. Having free filtered water at hostels is a delight. If you're interested on which portable water bottle I use, it is in the description box. And those are pros of staying in hostels. Of course, you get to meet fellow travelers. The employees, they flat out told me if you're going to be venturing out, you don't want to do it too late if you're by yourself, and don't go out at all in the night. One night I did decide to go out. I went with the woman who was in my room. We went to TGI Fridays. That's all we did. And we just walked down because it was at the end of our street. We came back to the hostel and we were fine. If the employees, the locals are telling you not to go out and you're alone, listen. We need to use common sense here as solo travelers. Don't just be trying to go to Jamaica living reckless. If you wouldn't do it at your home country, don't do it here. Some of the cons of Ragamuffin Hostel were that it was very noisy in the evenings and the night. Remember, I was coming from the resort where it was quiet, it was lush, it was beautiful. And I came to the hostel, it was late because I was coming with the family. It was dark, and I really like to kind of know what I'm getting into, see the room while it is well lit. First of all, I didn't know how to enter the hostel. I had my items with me. I couldn't find the entrance, but I heard a lot of noise because the daytime internet cafe, they turned it into a kind of like a little club situation. So I went right in there. I'm seeing all the people dancing. I'm trying to move my way through and get to the reception. Also, the reception has limited hours.
Help me!
So I was just really struggling. I'm like, if I don't get into this room and just lie down, once I got into the room, you kind of have to interrupt the other guests who are sleeping, whatever they are doing, because you arrive in the late night hour. That is a con of being in a hostel. I have to turn on the bright light. Everybody's kind of startled looking up because they were in their deep REM sleep. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to sort my things out and set my bed up. They do give you free bedding, but at this hostel, they do not give free towels. That's another con. I always travel with a Turkish towel, so I was good to go. You always want to bring a towel and flip-flops for when you are going to take a shower. Turkish towels in the description box below in my Amazon storefront. There are going to be pros and cons when you are staying in hostels. Some people might just want to avoid this altogether. You can take a day trip into Kingston from Mobay. You can still see the same sights. It's going to be a long day of activities, but then you get to go back to your resort. Again, it is up to you. When you are looking at reviews for hostels, especially if it's on Hostel World or Google, I like that Hostel World kind of filters it out by the actual traveler. What do I mean? Well, if you have a traveler who is new to being alone or even staying in hostels, I'm probably not going to look at their review. Also, it depends on the origin. I need to know where the traveler is from. As an American, I know from USA, Canada, we have kind of a certain standard. I don't know if that's the right word. Like, We like to have things a certain way. So I know if a woman, particularly who is solo traveling and she is experienced, that is a review that I want to read. I don't want to read someone who this is their first time in Jamaica, it's their first time staying in a hostel, because they might kind of have a little bias. I need someone who is experienced. And on Hostel World, they sort this out by that. Google, unless the person just directly says if they are experienced, if they are a nomad traveler, if they usually stay in hotels or guest houses, apartments, you really aren't going to find that on Google. I think they categorize it as novice nomad, then they have experienced traveler. Just go on the site, you'll see how they filter it out. Being the capital of Jamaica, Kingston is going to offer a lot of activities for you to do. Kingston is a business capital. You do want to keep that in mind. However, I'm going to sort this out into a 2-day itinerary. I don't know how long you are planning to visit. And on the first day, we're going to just focus on culture and history. The second day, it's more relaxation and art. There's a little culture history there too. So on day one, for sure, I'm going to recommend that you go to the Bob Marley Museum. This is the home where Bob lived. You're going to be able to visit the studio. It is a guided tour. You can see his Grammy. They don't allow you to take photos while you are in the tour. You can take them outside. That's why I'm showing you my IG Reels here. But remember to keep your phones and cameras off while you are inside the home. I really enjoyed that tour, being able to see the artwork there and be on the grounds where Bob Marley actually lived. I think that was a highlight for me. There is the Bob Marley Love Cafe. I might be saying that wrong, if you want to get overpriced Jamaican food. One thing though, they did tell me the security, I went across the street because you have the museum here, and then I was standing across the street because I wanted to get a picture of the museum for you guys. And the security was like, yo, you need to come in here. And she pulled me to the side and was like, you need to keep your phone, conceal it, all right? Because you don't want someone to just come up to you out of nowhere and snatch it out of your hand. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, girl, like, what are you doing? So, I mean, I know how to move quickly. I had already told you I was coming from my hostel. So I was just taking quick pics. I didn't think anything was going to happen. She kept reminding me, you are in Kingston. And y'all, this was an iPhone XR. Just listen to the locals. They are trying to make sure that your visit is a pleasant one and that you don't get swiped. After Bob Marley Museum, you are going to leave Hope Road and you can go to Devon House. All right, this is a mansion. It is very beautiful. I was on the grounds of Devon House, but I did not go in. There's also the ice cream shop that is well known around the country. You want to go there for sure. And it's a great way for you to just sit, relax. You can go to the restaurants that they have at the Devon House after a day of walking around at the museum. What I ended up doing, I think I was there 2-3 days. I don't remember. I did go to the SDA Kincott Church. I checked out the service there. There was no AC in there, so I was not there long. I think maybe less than an hour. I left, and from there I went to Emancipation Park. This is a lovely site. It has beautiful gardens. I saw people taking pictures. I went to Kingston. I was in Jamaica during Christmas time. So, they have the red and green decorations. Here I'm out here posing with Santa Claus. And the Christmas vibe, it was very nice and festive. I posed by the statues. Here you see Sam Sharp. I really think that Emancipation Park is a place that you should visit. At the end of the day, you can go to any of the areas that I mentioned, whether it's Half Tree or New Kingston, and check out restaurants, maybe a lounge. You want to hear some live music, and that would be the end of day one. For your second day, I'm going to start you out with art. You can go to the National Gallery of Jamaica. This is one place that I regret not going to. I am sure that they have a lovely collection of art for you to see. Port Royal is also mentioned here. I did not get to see it, but I've heard good reviews. I went to National Heroes Park for a bit. It was very hot. I just felt like the sun was a lot of hot rays down on me. Some others that I did not go to, but you might enjoy, are going to be Kingston Creative Market. There's Dub Club. You have downtown Kingston. I was able to see the sunset there, even though Travel State Gov says don't go. There's Dub School, Dubwise. There are a lot of options for you. If you are going out at night, make sure that you are with someone. If not, I would just take precautions. If I'm traveling alone as a woman, I might just stay behind at my accommodation. And those are things to do. Kingston, I would not say it is a walkable city. Yes, of course, I walked up and down my street where the hostel was, and I turned right onto Hope Road to go to Bob Marley Museum. But the rest of the city, I use the taxis. If you're going to use a taxi, you want to make sure that it is marked. You need a licensed vehicle and minimize risk. When I was in Mobay, I used a lot of taxis that were unmarked, y'all. In hindsight, I'm like, that wasn't the safest decision. As I said, there are rideshare apps if you want to use Uber. If you even want to connect with a driver that you have enjoyed, it was a pleasant experience, maybe you could just hire them and they could drive you around, because some of you might not have a lot of time and you really want to see all of the sites and check them off while you're in Kingston. And it's easier, you already know the driver, you have his WhatsApp, you can easily connect with him. As you can see on this map, everything was centrally located, so it was easy for me to obviously get to the Bob Marley Museum, TGI Fridays, there's a CPG market. That was all near where I was staying, even the veggie campus that was right next door. The other places I did take taxis to, but they were all kind of near each other. So you have the Kennecott SDA Church, here's Emancipation Park, here's Island Grill. Ibel Spice was not far away, so it really made it easy for me to move around. Downtown Kingston, I was walking through the market by the harbor, but you see the water in the sunset. Like, I was out with the locals there. Again, if it's sunset afterwards, I would be cautious. I remember when I was walking around downtown Kingston, I, saw some murals. I wanted to take pictures of them and have someone take pictures of me. That wasn't the best decision. Around the corner, you see prostitutes giving men head. It's just a lot going on. And then you don't even know, like, how the person you give the phone to, like, how they are perceiving you. Just be careful. You kind of want to look like you know what you're doing, even though you don't. Avoid making eye contact. You can smile and be friendly, but then the men are very aggressive in Jamaica. I do remember that. Knutsford Express is going to be great for you to get to various destinations around the island. From Kingston, I took the Knutsford Express to Ocho Rios. And then I took the Knutsford Express again from Ocho Rios to get back to Mobay, because that was where my departing flight on Spirit Airlines was to Miami. So Knutsford Express, I did enjoy it. For some reason, State Gov says not to use the public buses. I highly recommend Knutsford Express. The buses were air conditioned, the driver was professional, and I enjoyed my ride as I traveled around Jamaica. The bus parks in Kingston and Ocho Rios have good food too. Speaking of food, when you visit the Caribbean, you really start to understand and realize how unhealthy the food in America is, you guys. The Rastas, they were on the plant-based diet before it was popular. Like now everybody wants to be vegan, vegetarian. They have it down to a science. The Ital diet, it is salt-free. They don't have any red meat. It's really refreshing to be able to go to the restaurants knowing that your food, the ingredients, have not been cooked on a grill with meat juice. It can be strictly vegan if you choose, and that is amazing. Let's talk about some of the Jamaican food that is going to be present. The main dish of Jamaica is ackee and saltfish. Obviously, I am vegetarian. I'm not vegetarian, so I don't eat saltfish, but I was able to try the ackee. That was good. There's callaloo. You can get plantains, veggie patties. There's breadfruit. Of course, rice and peas. There's healthy green juice, fruit on the side of the road, getting you some mango. I think those are going to be some highlights. For me, I was kind of over it. I was ready to get to Kingston, but with that family, they were buying like heaps of mangoes. I guess they were taking them. Can you take them back on a plane? I thought you couldn't do that. The options are endless when you are in Jamaica, and tasting that food that has no additives, no preservatives, no chemicals. You are eating clean and healthy. Kingston is the capital. They have the largest amount of restaurants for vegetarians. I mean, Jamaica, you're going to find them everywhere, but I really enjoyed the food in Kingston. Restaurants I recommend. I don't want to overwhelm you. I'm going to just go quickly. Ibel Spice, that was very good. It is a restaurant. Here I was eating a breadfruit sandwich. I mean, that's just so creative. The food was delicious. They offer items for purchase like Jamaican black castor oil. That's what I use, for my hair to keep it moisturized, full and thick. There was soursop there, fresh juices. They have a lot of healthy bowls, Ital bowls that you can get there. If you're going there in the morning, I'm sure that they will have fresh hot porridge for purchase as well. Because I was already in Mo Bay and I had been to the resort, I already had my Jamaican dollars with me. I think they accept US dollars as well, but I had already exchanged my money when I was in Montego Bay and the city center there. When you arrive to Kingston with your stuff already together, I had already had the SIM card installed with Digicel because I had already handled that in Mo Bay too. When you go to the next city, it kind of makes things not as stressful. You don't want to be stressed out in Kingston. New Leaf and Olive Cove. Those are a couple of vegetarian restaurants I did not get to check out, but on visitjamaica.com, they recommend those. Of course, at my hostel, there was Veggie Campus. You can check him out on Instagram. His food is bright, colorful, and it's tasty. And it's all vegan. Is it all vegan? I don't remember. As I told you, I went with the lady from my room at Ragamuffin. We walked to the end of the street from the hostel and we ate at TGI Fridays. That was a nice vibe being able to eat there. If you are into coffee, they do have a Starbucks, or if you want, you can get your Blue Mountain. The CPG market, I went to Tea Tree Creperie. That was great. I ate French toast. I had eggs and ginger tea there. That was delightful. If you want to go to the more popular places, people talk about Gloria's there. I'm not really sure what the vegetarian options are. I'm sure they could whip up something for you if you are interested in Gloria's. Of course, there's Usain Bolt Tracks and Records. There you can get local and international food that's on the menu. Check that out. And if you're trying to save money, you have local markets all around. The food in Jamaica is going to be a top tier dining experience. Jamaica is an island in the Caribbean. I will always visit back. There's always going to be a new experience, and I enjoyed my time in Kingston. You want to make sure that you are not being reckless. Follow the rules, meet the locals. You want to have a good time. Be very careful of the men. Some can be aggressive, but it's not everybody. I know that Travel State Gov, they kind of try to scare tourists from traveling to certain parts of the world, and they just tag them with levels 3s. I enjoyed myself thoroughly in Jamaica, and I think you will too. Just follow my tips. You're going to be good to go. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment box below. I might have left out some places. I know I sometimes talk fast when I get excited, so I'm trying to get this information out to you. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to share this video with a friend. And if you're interested in more travel in the Caribbean, go ahead and look at this video here to get more information. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to see you next week.